Okay, but walking down the stairs in these boots with a bag of trash is hard. Can you see the shoes? Oh my gosh. And holding a camera. Hey y'all. I am fucking cold. It is freezing. Oh my gosh, this trash is so full. Okay, it's cold. I have on my from Uniqlo, it's my heat tech. I was watching my Unorthodox Life, and I love that bot had on like one of these kind of necklaces and this one, so I was like, let me try it today. So I am headed out on the streets, on the mean streets of Los Angeles. Ooh, I thought I saw somebody over there, to get a COVID test, because I think I might go out this weekend. And train of thought, go to bring my list of eye doctors to or list of glaucoma specialists to my eye doctor. I don't have it. It's just something that they need to look at. And, I should get some more alkaline water. Yeah, I have enough bottles to do that. And there was something else I needed to do. What was it? What was the other thing? I don't know. I don't remember what it was. Damn it. Something else I needed to do, which was, maybe that was it. I don't know. I'll think of it. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, there was something else, I think, but maybe not. Yeah, I don't remember what it was. Anyway, so I'm gonna go get this COVID test, go drop this, or maybe the other thing I felt I needed to do was me remembering that I have like 2 stops to make, so I have to go pick up the copies of the thing and then go to the place to drop it off. So maybe I was thinking about that. But I had a really good night last night. I ended up listening to this podcast episode, which was like perfect to listen to. And I'm going to share, if I remember, I will put in, like a link to that podcast episode. It was basically about self-sabotage and how your negative emotions are teaching you something and what they're teaching you. Ooh, and she went through a bunch of different ones, and it was just like amazing and amazingly helpful. But something that I want to share with you, also, I'm really jacked up on caffeine right now. I haven't eaten yet today, so if I'm talking really fast, listen back to this in like 0.5 speed, right? Or do what you want. It doesn't matter. It's your life. But something that I wanted to share with you was, when you maybe have a falling out with somebody, or you don't feel good about them, or you like find something out about them or whatever, and your reaction might be, I found out who they were. Like, I found out who they were. I realized what type of person they are. It's not so much who they are, but it's, where am I going first? Hold on. COVID test. It's about where they are. It's about where they are. And let me explain to you the difference. So the difference is that you are finding out where they are on their life journey, on their path, on their healing journey, or if they're on a journey at all, you're finding out where they are, right? And you might have met them when they're at the beginning of some kind of spiritual awakening, or past it, or whatever. But it's about deciding, when you are triggered by somebody and something that they do, and you have this moment of, oh, I found out who they were, think about where they are and observe it. Sit back, look up, right? Sit back and observe, oh, okay, they're in a space, or even if you trigger them, right? It's like, oh, they're in a space where me saying something where my intention was like lighthearted and a joke, like doesn't sit well with them for whatever reason. Not that you like didn't do anything wrong, or not that they didn't do anything wrong, or whatever it is, but it's just like, oh, okay, this is where they are. And being able to meet people where they are too, right? So I'm trying to think of like an actual example that will be helpful. So I'm not just speaking in like vague terms. I can't think of anything. Where they are. Okay, so say something that you really need from a friendship is some reassurance of like is just some like reassurance, right? And you go to the person that you've been friends with or whatever, and they aren't like able to give that to you, or they think that you're asking for too much, and you can realize like, oh, they're in a space where maybe they have some like issues around reassurance and they're not able to give this to me. So like it helps you be more empathetic when you think of it like this is just where they are. Does this work for me and what I need? I feel like this example is really, really shitty, but I feel like when you think about it like that, it just makes it easier to process, and just you're able to sit back and go, oh, okay, it seems like this is where they are. This is the place that they are in, because who somebody is, at the core is like all souls are good, right? Like, yeah, like everybody's like good essentially, right? The presumption is that they're good. But where they are can change. They could be like, you could be friends with somebody who like was constantly late, and they like, and you're noticing their personal life, and like they never pay their bills on time, and they can't keep their relationships together, and like maybe they treated you like really, really well, or like they were like always giving you money. I'm trying to think of like more neutral example. Like they were always like giving you money, but then they never paid their own bills, and you're just seeing them and you're like, God, like why can't they get their life together? And that might frustrate you a little bit, because maybe they're always complaining that they're broke, but then they're always like giving you money or something. I don't know, whatever. And it's being able to observe and to have some empathy and be like, oh, like they're in a place where they don't feel like they're worth it to take care of themselves, and that the only way that they feel useful is to take care of others, right? Ooh, that's a great example. I got there. Yay. Like their worth, their perception of self-worth is like, if I don't take care of other people, then I am not useful to them, right? So the day that you're like, hey, thank you for offering to pay for our lunch, but I can pay, but like I can afford this, one, and two, like you're always telling me that you don't have money to pay your bills, but then you're offering to pay for lunch, like that's okay. You don't have to do that. And that's probably going to like trigger something in them, because they've realized like, oh my gosh, I've been taking care of all these people and I don't do it for me. Or I only thought we were friends because like I pay for your lunch, and it's like, it's not that. It's just, where is this fire truck going? Because I need to go down this way. Where are you going, sweetheart? So you're realizing like where they are, right? And you can have empathy for them instead of like confusion around them too, right? Because I do feel like sometimes, oh God, are you gonna stop right there? That's inconvenient. Because I do realize too that, oh gosh, you can be in a place of being like confused about like, why is this person acting like this? But once you know where they are, it can make more sense, right? And yeah, I mean, it may be worth asking, like, and not in like a judgmental way of like, are you okay? Which I think is so fucking like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, it's more of like, clearly I have triggers around that, but it's more of like, hey, what's going on? Like, is there something else? Or like, like I've noticed this and I'm just observing as a friend or whatever, like I would want, like, that's what I would want from a friend, to be able to kind of tell me something like that. I'm gonna go down this way. Oh fuck, it's not a through street. Fuck. Lord, there's so much happening right now. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me just go around. Okay, here we go. Yeah, but like being able to recognize where people are, because they may not be on the same level you are. And I kind of hesitate to say level, because one feels like it's higher up than the other, but it's not. Like in the same time zone. Let me say time zone, because no one time zone is better than the other, right? Well, that does deal with ahead and behind, so maybe not. Come. But don't you come out, Chevy Volt. You wait. You're an asshole. Ah! It would be so much faster to let me just go. Maybe they're in a rush, whatever. Anyway, I'll just take their no, I won't take their spot because it's too far down. Let me get my steps in so I can walk in these sexy boots. but realizing where somebody is and being able to like empathize on that level, and it just clears thing up of like, oh, like this is where you are, this is why that reaction was like that. Okay, like let's figure it out. But like being able to have that, I mean, if the conversation even needs to happen at that point, or it's just like realizing, oh, like I'm realizing from my own experience that this is where this person is. So like, I'm going to decide if they can be in my life or not. And they'll probably tell you in other ways too. All right, that's it. I'm going to go with this COVID test and I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Okay. Bye. I think I have some more clarity around what I was saying. I think it's when you, it depends on the situation, right? But like, you can think of it like, oh, when I set a boundary, right? Like when I set a boundary, or when I say no, thanks, or whatever, or like, or not even setting a boundary, but just saying no. Like when I say no, their response to it shows you where they are. Their outward response anyway. They may be like harboring some secret, deep whatever. But like, so, okay, I'll give an example. I had asked somebody that I was on this weird vacation with. I kept inviting them out to do stuff, and their answer was consistently no. It was like, no thanks, right? And then, and I was kind of confused, and I was just like, I know I'm a friendly person, like I'm asking them to do a variety of things, like we're here on vacation, like why don't they want to do anything, blah, 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 blah. And then one of the things that they said was like, no, I don't want to do that, because if I did, I would really have to look at myself. And I was like, oh, this is where they are. They are in a place of, and at the time I didn't have this thought. It was like, okay, this is who they are, right? But at the time, or now, I'm like, oh, this is where they are. They're at a point where they don't want to look at themselves. And that's okay. And they wanted to treat this vacation as a relaxing, like, all I want to do is, stay in the house. And that's fine. And this is where they are. And being able to not be like offended by that, or feel like, well, I see so much potential and I want them to do this and they should want to do this for themselves too. It's like, no, this is where they are, and okay, cool, I'll leave you alone. And that's it. And that's all that is. So yeah, I think, when you hear a no, or when I get a no, or when you give a no, the person's reaction just shows you where they are. If I get asked on a date by somebody and I don't want to go, their reaction, or you hear stories about men being like, well, why, or what is it? They have like this emotional big reaction to it. And it's like, oh, that's where they are. They're at a point where somebody telling them no, maybe without an explanation, or they're not used to me, like, oh, okay, that's where they are. That's where you are. I see you. I don't need to plug into the energy. I just see it. And I observe it, and then that's it. Somebody who is more emotionally mature could respond of like, like I had a couple of people were in town, and they're like, hey, like, do you want to meet up? And I was like, no. And they're like, okay, cool. Like, and I was like, no. I was like, have a good time. And they're like, okay, great. And of course they may have felt like a different way about it. They didn't express that to me, which is fine. I also don't have to like manage their feelings. But it just shows where they are. On another note, somebody, and this is, something that annoys me, but I don't like when people propose an idea and then they don't follow through on it, because it makes me feel like, am I crazy? Like, did you not say that this is what you wanted to do and now I'm following up on it and you don't want to do it? Like, what the fuck? Damn, I'm going the wrong way. So, for example, somebody had invited me out to coffee, right? And then when I was in town to go get coffee with them, I messaged them and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, I'm in town. And they just like ghosted. Like, they just like saw my message and did not respond. And I was like, what the fuck? But like, that is where that person is. That person is in a place in their lives where they either, it's one of two things, where they either say that they want to do something that they don't actually want to do, and then when it comes time to follow up on it, they just disappear. or they aren't able to stand in their worth and maturity enough to say, hey, you know what? I know that I said this. I've actually changed my mind. Like they're not in a place, and 3, they're not in a place of communicating anything back. And I'm like, this was your idea. Like, this is something that you said that you wanted to do, and I agreed to it. And now you just ghost? Like, that's you know? And it's just like, that's just where they are. That's just where they are. Do I have a place for it in my life? No. Like, am I going to let them know that I'm in town again and like, let's try it again? No, because right now I'm in a place where them saying no again, or just seeing the message and not responding, I'm taking it like a little personally, you know? So great. I came up with examples. See, I got there eventually, y'all. I got there. Anyway, just did my COVID test, going to pick up this printout. I need to get ink for my printer because it's just that freaking investment in the fucking ink that I'm like, oh God, I hate doing it. But I'm going to Staples to go pick up this printout, and then I need to go drop it off. It's raining. My hair is straight. I know I'm gonna like sweat it all out tomorrow anyway, but still, this is LA winter, y'all. It's just rain, rain, rain. So yeah, but yeah, I think I'm gonna jam out, rock out with my cock out to some tunes in the car, and go from there. All right, bye. Hi. I always say hi like I'm coming home to a child. Like, hi. Hi, baby. How are you, baby? All right, I'm home. Went to Whole Foods. Saw some fine ass men. I was like, oh, this is the time of day to go when y'all are out? Some beautiful black men in Whole Foods today, honey. I'm gonna have to remember this. Thursdays at like 2. What time is it? Yeah, I think I was there like 2:30. Thursdays at 2:30. That's the time when those fine ass men are out. So yeah, got back from Whole Foods, went to the eye doctor, got my COVID. Gosh, I can't believe I did all that. I'm just like, talked to a girlfriend of mine. I wore my boots. Hello. I love these things. They're so comfortable. Felt super sexy just strutting around in them in Whole Foods. It's raining again, y'all. Raining again. Oh, why am I holding it this way? Whoops, gotta flip it. Okay. Ouch. So yeah, just got back in. I'm going to make, I think I'm gonna make that like mushroom toast that I made yesterday. I don't know if I vlogged that for you, but I think I'm gonna make that. But I got some of this vegan cream cheese kind of thing, like a vegan goat cheese actually. And I think I'm going to have that with it, make it like a pizza. I have not eaten anything yet today. Oh, I need to put this laundry into the dryer. So yeah, just got in, running around, doing a couple million different little things. Okay, this is water. Yeah, so gonna take care of that. And then I am going to do this bio work. You know me, every day. I'm gonna do that, but that should not take long to finish because I did most of the work already. So I think while I'm letting my mushrooms soak, because I have some mushrooms that are dried, so I have to let them soak for at least half an hour, I will do the bio stuff. So let me get on that. Let me see how many I can get done in the time. Where are my, I have to pee. Where are my slippers? Oh. All right, bye.
Would you slap a coworker for 25?
Yes. So I just got back home from a drive. My intuition was telling me to like go out, take a drive. I decided to, I bought potatoes today, but I was like, I'm just gonna buy like a plain baked potato from Wendys so I don't have to cook it. Because making potatoes fucking sucks. Like, God, you gotta bake them for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. So ridiculous. Anyway, so I had it in my head. I was like, okay, I'm going to go out for a drive. I'm going to go to Wendys today is the 16th. And I was listening to the podcast I think I told you I was going to tell you about yesterday, but I didn't include it. And I was listening to it, and I was like, well, this isn't actually the episode that I wanted to listen to, but she only has like 5 episodes in the podcast. This is Brianna Wiest. And they're only like 5 episodes. And in the episode that I listened to the other day that I wanted to re-listen to, she's like, well, we already talked about this. I have pimples. That's why I have this here. She's like, well, we talked about self-sabotage being blah, blah, blah. So it's like, she's basically referring to a previous episode. And I was like, well, there's only one episode right before the one that I want to listen to. Let me just listen to that. And I kept wanting to like stop listening to it to go to the next one. But I was like, just stay and listen to it because it's only like 20 minutes. Then you can come back home and listen to the other one, whatever. So I listened to it and she was like, one of the things that she talked about, first of all, the drive that I took was really beautiful. So I may have said this before, but I sometimes just go out on drives. I don't have any direction. I don't have any place I was going. Yeah, I was going to Wendys, but sometimes I just turn down streets that look and feel interesting to me and I just go. And that's what I did tonight. And I ended up like way up north, like so far north that like the map is like, there's basically like no more street up here. Like you can't go up any higher. And it was foggy, but it was really beautiful and like spacious. And there was just like a lot of space around. And it was just such a beautiful drive. And on the drive, I was like saying out loud what I was grateful for, listening to the podcast, pausing it, saying what I was grateful for. But then there was a point where it was like, what is a life that's like too good, right? Like, like what do you desire from a life that's like too good? Because like the truth is that like you can have that life. So I paused it and I was just describing a scenario that I was like, yeah, like this would feel too good. I also give this exercise to my friends and I say like what kind of problems do you want to have? Like what are like the good problems you want to have, right? And so it's this idea of like, oh, a good problem would be like, okay, do I do this, multi-million-dollar movie, or do I do this Broadway play that I really wanted to do instead? Like that's a great problem to have, right? Anyway, so I was saying out loud what the situation would be of this like too good life. And then I said something and it just like brought me to tears in that it had to do with like belonging. It had to do with like feeling involved. It had to do with being like chosen in a way, like being included. And I was like, whoa, this is like a really deep need for me. Like my, ideal thing is somebody being like, hey, Ashley, do you want to do this thing with me? Or like, hey, like, I'd really love your opinion on this. And I was just like so emotional about it. And, I think it ties into, I think the kind of work that I do now, like I really, like even if I'm doing a film where I'm an actor in it, like I would like to have some creative input, or, and also in the acting is where I do get to give my creative input too. But that's like where I really thrive. And also I think it's interesting that I've had so many management positions because it's this thing of like, well, if I'm the manager or if I'm like one of the managers, like everybody else has to listen to me. Right? Like you have to do what I say. But of course, like people still don't do it. I remember I was working at this one retail job and I felt like every single meeting we were telling people to say the same exact, like we're going over the same shit. And I was like, this is boring. Like I want to move on from telling people to do the basic shit and like get into more interesting stuff. But we can't because people are still stuck on, not asking fucking open-ended questions. Like how hard is it to not be like, to say like, what are you shopping for today versus like, can I help you find anything? Like open-ended questions, like come on. Anyway, now you might know where I used to work. But it's interesting because, even in being in those positions, and maybe that's the reason why I want, like my aspirations, like, yeah, it's acting, but it's also like directing and producing. And it's like, if it's my story, like you have to like do what I say and listen to what I say. And I know that I've been like sensitive to like other people's opinions or feeling like other people's opinions aren't good, which like honestly, like sometimes they aren't, or like they just don't match my vision or they're not in line. So I know that when I find somebody who has like the same sensibilities and the same sense of humor, I'm like, yeah, this is a great match. But it was just a really interesting revelation to have of this whole, because I know that like being seen is something that I think about a lot, but it's also like being heard and being asked my opinion. Like when somebody wants to know what I think about something, I really like take that to heart. I'm like so touched by it. Like, oh my gosh, like you want to know what I think and feel? Okay, cool, you know? So yeah, I just wanted to share that. I'm going to eat my baked potato and watch something and just like let my mind rest. Okay, bye.